Hello, my people. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to having our podcast show. Get ready to be inspired because today in our series, The Everyday Leader, we are building on the one thing that matters most for a positive future. The one thing that can change everything, and that is leadership. This is the 4th episode of season 1. So buckle up, lean in, and get ready to be inspired. This is the leadership series you have been waiting for. Today, we are diving into a topic that is fundamental to all forms of leadership. I have decided to name this topic the first step to true leadership. It's the most crucial step on the path to becoming an effective leader for others. We say that to lead is to know the way. It's about understanding the direction and the path that leads to achieving success, that leads to achieving a vision. But here is a crucial insight. You can only truly know the way if you know yourself. Because how can you guide others? How can you lead others? How can you be ahead of others if you don't know where you are going yourself? The truth is that you can't. And you can only lead yourself if you genuinely know who you are. Leadership begins with self-leadership. And that starts with knowing yourself. So what does it mean to know yourself? Knowing yourself means understanding your strengths, understanding your weaknesses. And that is very important. In fact, most important is knowing your weaknesses and understanding them. It's just about being self-aware, being self-conscious, being self-understanding, and constantly striving to improve upon the weaknesses. We all have weaknesses, right? I have my weakness, you have your weakness. It is not wrong to have a weakness. Knowing the weaknesses rather help you to align properly with your strengths. And this informs how you engage and relate with other people. And also it impacts how you build a positive image for yourself out there, without letting the negatives, the weaknesses overshadow the positives of your life. One thing about knowing your weakness is that it helps you humble your negatives. If you know the weaknesses, you are able to exert the positives to the world, to your team, to everybody around you, and to everybody that matters most. As leadership expert Peter Drucker said, you cannot manage other people's performances unless you manage yourself first. The biggest challenge for effective leaders is their refusal to acknowledge their shortcomings. What I know is that a great leader does not hide their flaws. Great leaders don't do that. They work to overcome them. Every single day, they are doing whatever it takes to make sure that they are able to overshadow their negatives. But for ineffective leaders, and when I say ineffective leaders, I'm trying to mean a leader who is not abreast with his weaknesses, a leader who is not abreast with the current situations on the ground and doesn't know how to lead people properly. Such ineffective leaders always try to hide their weaknesses, and it only makes things worse for the team because you have a weakness. You are hiding it from your team. How do they relate with you? How do they improve their performances? This lack of self-awareness can lead to biases, unfair treatment, and discrimination of followers. But, we have about 4 different organizational biases. Let's leave that for another day. Another common trait of ineffective leaders is the need to be in control of everything. They micromanage instead of delegating. You see a leader, he has followers. He can ask the followers to do something, but they rather end up micromanaging. Now, micromanaging prevents the followers and the team from learning. It prevents them from growing. It prevents them from improving upon themselves. The leaders fail to provide motivation or constructive feedback. There is a difference between positive feedback and mere praise. You are given an assignment, you bring the assignment, and it tells you that, thank you, you have done well. That is praise. But positive feedback is when the person goes into the work and tells you where you have done right so that you know what you are doing right and what you are not doing right. That's a positive feedback. But you see, if you are a leader who is micromanaging, who is not delegating, how can you even give a positive feedback? But there's a lot of conversation about feedback mechanism that we will talk about also in an upcoming show. So we will get into that details another time. John Maxwell, a leadership expert, says, a leader who is not afraid to admit a mistake is a leader who is respected. A leader definitely makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. But then admitting the mistake is letting your people, your followers know that they can also make mistakes. So that is the one who is mostly respected. And he also states that a leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And a big part of knowing the way, showing the way, and going the way is empowering others to find their own way too. Ineffective leaders often lean into a more dictatorial style. They are often rigid and uncompromising, which stifles innovation and creativity within their teams. Followers, because their leader is a dictator, they become afraid to contribute new ideas because they fear criticism and a lack of trust from their leader. Worry that their hard work will be torn apart, their hard work will not be valued, and that destroys their confidence. Myself, if I had a leader who, anytime I present a work, he is not satisfied, I'll be demotivated. And that is the challenge with ineffective leaders. The first step to solving the problem of ineffective leaders is admitting your weakness and your flaws. Admitting that there is a problem. And that can only happen if you truly know yourself and regularly assess your leadership traits. Sometimes leadership comes to us unprepared. You are in your workplace, your office settings, then all of a sudden, there is this promotion due to an unforeseen circumstance. Maybe the leader who is there has passed on. The leader has taken on a different activity. Or maybe you get a new role somewhere which needs you to lead. You didn't see that coming. Most of the times it happens to us. As leaders, if it comes to us unprepared, what are we supposed to do? This is the thing. Some people are quick to adapt. They learn. They try to become better versions of themselves all the time. But unfortunately, there are others. They just remain unconcerned. They just simply exert their assumed authority on people without improving or even seeking to improve their skills. And that is another challenge. Anytime leadership comes to you unprepared, try your best to adapt, to learn on the job. That is even more important. Make sure that you are working with your followers. Warren Bennis, he stated that the most dangerous leadership trait is that people think leaders are born. There is no genetic factor to leadership. There is nothing like, because my father is a leader, I also have to be a leader. He said that is nonsense. In fact, the opposite is true. Leaders are made rather than born. Before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a powerful summary of everything we have discussed. It's just this. Before you can lead others, you must be able to lead yourself. Your ability to lead yourself will automatically translate into effectively leading others. Everybody should try as much as possible to lead themselves. Lead yourself first. Here is your challenge for the week. Think of 3 leaders in your community. 3 leaders you know. Could be your family, they could be at work. Just think of 3 leaders. Identify their key features, their skills. Reflect on why you chose these 3 leaders. Then ask yourself, will you want such a person to be your leader? Why and why not? And also ask yourself, how do their leadership traits compare to yours? And most importantly, it's not just about knowing them, about choosing them, but what can you learn from these people to improve yourself? I want you to consider certain traits such as their self-confidence, integrity, ethics, their ability to tolerate, let me say the tolerance level, how they take feedback, their feedback mechanism, their follower satisfaction, and also the energy that they have. You can add any traits that you know. If you're able to do it properly, it's a very powerful tool for your leadership journey, and it will help you a lot. So, we have come a long way today, and like I always say, stay connected with us on all our social media channels, and wherever our name pops up, we are building a community of everyday leaders, and we want you, your friends, and your families to be a part of it. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Until next time, remember that you are a leader every single day. I'm your host, Yusuf Caesar, and this is Having Up.